Okay, it seems everything around AI is about creating shock and awe. I don't know if you heard about this whole OpenAI potentially acquiring Pinterest situation. Before you discard it as another AI hype, stick with me for a bit longer because this one actually makes more sense than it might seem at first glance. Tucked in the predictions for 2026 by a tech publication was this bombshell. OpenAI might make Pinterest their biggest acquisition yet. No wonder that Pinterest's stocks jumped 3% just on the rumor. Since neither company has confirmed anything, it is still speculation. So, why are we talking about it? Because whether or not this specific deal happens, the why behind it tells us a lot about where AI is heading and what that means for anyone working in marketing or brand building. So, OpenAI might acquire Pinterest for $17.5 billion. dollars. The obvious question that this speculative news raises is, why would OpenAI do that? Well, as impressive their language models may be, the company can't expect to be what it aims to be unless it solves its AI shopping assistant problem. A shopping assistant that can understand what you want, find it for you, and help you buy it. They launched a shopping research feature in ChatGPT around the holidays to gain ground in the AI commerce space. ChatGPT searches across the entire internet, finds relevant products, explains the trade offs, and eventually you can buy directly from the chat. In addition to ChatGPT, they have DALI for image generation and Sora for video generation. But to give genuine competition to Google, Meta, and Amazon, they desperately need human intent data. Google has search queries, Meta has social interactions, Amazon has purchase behavior, and OpenAI is paying for data access through partnerships and third party sources. It's expensive, and frankly, it's not sustainable when you are trying to train models that understand how humans actually think and search for things. This is where Pinterest becomes a company of interest to them. Pinterest has over 200 billion images. More than the images, it's the intent data that comes with them. Every single pin is labeled with intent such as kitchen remodel ideas, or summer wedding outfits, or gift ideas for dad. People aren't just scrolling mindlessly on Pinterest, they are planning, dreaming, and shopping. The platform has 600 million monthly active users. Not just that, Gen Zs are their fastest growing audience. They make up about 42% of the platform's user base, and they are shopping on the platform. So, Pinterest holds something incredibly valuable to OpenAI: behavioral data combined with visual data combined with shopping intent. That's a gold mine. If OpenAI buys Pinterest, it would gain access to a massive archive of human curated visual content. These are images that real people have deliberately chosen because they find them inspiring, beautiful, or useful. That's training data gold for improving image generation models. This comes with user interest graphs. When someone saves a pin about minimalist home design, that's data about what they find attractive, what aesthetic appeals to them, what they might want to buy. OpenAI could use that to improve personalization in shopping recommendations. These user interest graphs indicate to people's shopping behavior patterns. How do they actually discover products they want? What triggers them to save something? What makes them buy versus just save? Pinterest knows all of this. The platform has been designed for pure discovery. It's optimized for finding things you didn't know you wanted. And if that was not enough, Pinterest has real merchant relationships. They already work with stores. The infra is there to help people move from inspiration to purchase. That takes years to build. OpenAI would be buying that directly. Speculative as the news may be, the acquisition, if it happens, isn't random. It's a direct play to strengthen OpenAI's position in AI commerce and improve their AI models' understanding of visual content and human preferences. So, OpenAI gets access to all those intent driven images curated by people. For sure, it will make its language models process images better. But better in what sense? Are there certain image generation challenges that they face right now? Their GPT image 1.5 is quite solid. It is even better than DALI 3 at following instructions and can handle text rendering much better than before. But that doesn't mean perfect. These models still struggle with character consistency. If you're trying to create a series of images with the same person or character, maintaining their appearance across multiple generations is inconsistent. For brands trying to create cohesive campaigns, that's a real limitation. Google's Nano Banana is gaining rave reviews for this right now. When it comes to rendering text in the images, that has improved a lot. But it still makes mistakes on complex layouts. If you're designing a poster with multiple text elements at specific sizes and positions, you might need several attempts to get it right. And sometimes the model struggles with exact positioning of the text as against other elements in structured compositions. OpenAI has also been facing the rate limiting issue, which is basically a techie way of saying that GPU power it takes to generate an image is so high that their algos have to limit access to the number of images or iterations they can do at a time. This is a hardware issue, not a data issue. Still, acquisition of Pinterest can solve it to some extent. Pinterest CEO had recently talked about shifting away from their own models to fine tuned open source models for visual discovery on the platform. This has helped them cut down AI infra costs while keeping comparable performance levels. There's also the issue of policy restrictions that came in August last year. OpenAI adopted the policy that disallows transforming real people's photos into different art styles, even from text prompts. This was in response to deepfake concerns and ethical issues. But the policy does limit creative use cases. Pinterest has built in infra of consent and identity verification over the years. They verify every user's identity. They get proper permission from the users to use the images. Every pin has origin information which can be traced to the creator. Plus, they have systems to help users decide what happens to the content they pin on the platform. So, if this deal happens, OpenAI will be able to relax some part of their policy restrictions. The video side has similar challenges. Sora 2 is quite good as it is able to handle physics more realistically, generate synchronized audio, and maintain continuity across shots. But it still makes mistakes. Complex interactions between multiple characters can produce unexpected results. Sometimes the model also produces artifacts or unnatural physics. This is where the social platforms boards features could help. The ordered curated images in boards can be used as storyboards to train models. For example, a board titled Wedding Inspiration could have images of wedding dress, venues, flowers, seating arrangements, and cakes. This data could provide visual continuity and logical progression to train AI. This could also help improve compositions and patterns in interaction between elements. It could also improve understanding of physics of how fabrics drape, liquids pour, or objects stack naturally. And of course, maintaining details of human anatomy, particularly hands. Okay, so if OpenAI does acquire Pinterest, is its UI the future of how ChatGPT, its shopping features, or Sora will look like? Pinterest uses a masonry grid layout. Images of different sizes and aspect ratios all fit together like a mosaic without wasted space. No rectangular boxes or uniform grid, just visual elements that flow together organically. It's brilliant interface design for visual discovery, and it is very efficient in terms of space and attention. You can display way more content, and it doesn't feel cluttered because the variable heights create a visual rhythm. Integration of ads in AI chats that feels natural and less intrusive is something that every platform is testing out. Perplexity scaled back and then came up with a different way of showing ads. Until someone comes up with a unique layout, we are stuck with square or rectangular bento boxes. Using Pinterest's masonry layout could bring some distinction to ChatGPT's ad features. Not literally, but in principle. The visual composition that's both efficient and beautiful. It displays multiple items without overwhelming the user. Those are definitely relevant to how OpenAI might want to structure visual interfaces. And if you think about Sora in particular, a masonry grid layout would be a very natural way to display video thumbnails or generated video clips. It's already the standard for Pinterest. It'll bring a sense of familiarity to users. So, yeah, OpenAI could seriously consider owning the platform's UI design language. Their interface makes visual content feel discoverable and beautiful, and that's quite valuable beyond just the data. Now, whether or not this acquisition happens, what should brands and marketers actually be thinking about? If you are currently using Pinterest as part of your marketing strategy, there's no need to panic. Even if the acquisition happens, the platform isn't going away. It's too valuable as a standalone platform. But you should start thinking about how AI integration might change user behavior. Search is getting more visual than text based. 42% of Gen Z are now starting their searches on Pinterest instead of Google. So, for an entire generation, visual discovery is the default search behavior. That changes everything about how you think about SEO. It's not about ranking for text keywords anymore. It's about creating imagery that's discoverable, something that people want to save, information that feeds into recommendation algos optimized for visual content, which means your product photos, visual brand identity, and the aesthetic of your content, all that matters more now. This also means that these young people who are now 40% of global consumer base shop visually, are inspiration driven and are more intentional. They come to Pinterest to dream and plan, not to react to ads. So, if you're trying to reach Gen Z, you need to be on platforms where they are actively discovering and planning. And you need to show up not as an interruptive ad, but as a solution to something they are looking for. Now that ChatGPT shopping research is live, you can search for products, get detailed comparisons, understand the trade offs, and click through to buy. Instant checkout lets you purchase directly from within the chat. That means your product data, reviews, and prices are all important. And if you're not making that information easily accessible and accurate, you're going to lose visibility in AI search. Then you need to be fully ready for ChatGPT ads. They're building an advertising model. The early formats look like sponsored recommendations within ChatGPT responses or sidebar ads next to answers. What's important about all this is that these ads will be contextual and conversational, not keyword triggered like Google ads. So there'll be recommendations that make sense for that person's specific needs based on what they just said. That's powerful for brands with strong product market fit because you're reaching people at the moment they are actively looking for exactly what you sell. It's dangerous for brands selling things people don't actually need because no amount of context can overcome that fundamental problem. Looking at these aspects of the speculated acquisition of Pinterest by OpenAI, a bigger picture of the marketing landscape emerges. It's the fundamental shift happening in how we find, create, and share visual content online. For years, all this was separated. Search engines were meant for finding things, social platforms for connecting with people and sharing things, and creative tools were for making things. Those boundaries are dissolving. ChatGPT is bringing all that together as a search engine, a creative tool, and increasingly, with Sora, a social platform. Pinterest has always been a hybrid, part search, part social, and part creative platform for inspiration. What we are watching is the emergence of integrated platforms that do everything. You think of an idea, the AI helps you refine it, generates visual content, suggests where you share it, connects you with merchants to buy materials or products, and shows you related content from other creators. It's a deeply thoughtful approach to completing the loop. For brands and marketers, this changes everything about how we think about the customer journey. The traditional funnel of awareness, consideration, and purchase is getting compressed and mixed up. Today, it's possible for someone to see AI generated inspiration, click through to a product, and get AI generated styling suggestions all in one session on one platform. It's already here. It's a matter of time how quickly it becomes the dominant way people interact with visual content online. So now the marketing game is about figuring out how to operate across these integrated platforms and create content that works for both humans and algos. Thanks for listening. If this was helpful, share it with your community and follow this show. Until next time, stay curious.